Welcome, one and all, to the updated look into an unbreakable perspective of bowling. It's been the ongoing mission of North American bowling and SpareTalk to bring the sport of bowling back to the prominence it once held when the game was first brought to the shores of the American continents. The podcast that is featured here focuses on this day in bowling history. Here, we feature news snippets from years and decades past, with the understanding that news isn't old if you've never heard it before. It's with this first step that we all must realize that in order for the game to grow just as it did throughout history, the games must not be separated by the nonsensical ideology that any one game is superior to another. Once we come to the realization that all games are brothers under the one umbrella of bowling, that's when the game will be strengthened through unity. Accept all games and embrace them with respect. It's with this perspective that we bring you this podcast. So, join our initial trio of AI reporters, Ike Muncie, Marcy McCall, and Frank Alcade, as they bring you the news of what happened on this day in the history of bowling. And now, on with the show.
Good day, everyone. I am Ike Muncie, along with today's complement of AI staff reporters, Marcy McCall and Frank Alcade. This is new for me, so I hope I do not get too tongue-tied. I will get the ball rolling here in this beta version of This Day in Bowling History. A trifecta of news items, all from the year 1994 in the Grand Rapids Press, starts us off today. Pursuit of new ball brings Pro-Am prize. It was not the lure of bowling with the pros, or even the prize money that attracted Doug Banka to last week's Great Lakes PBA Classic Pro-Am. It was the ball. The Grand Rapids man figured it was cheaper to pay the Pro-Am entry fee and collect a Rhino Pro Ball rather than buy one on the open market. Finishing runner-up in the 892 bowler field turned out to be an even bigger bonus. I did not think I would do that good, said Banka, whose 1,479 pinfall was just 3 pins behind winner John Catalano of Elwood Park, Illinois. I expected a lot of oil, and it turned out to be kind of dry. I probably could have done even better if there had been more oil. I throw a big hook, and with it being that dry, my shot does not always carry. But in the Pro-Am, it carried. Also, it kind of helped that I had a lot of handicap, 7 pins. I did not bowl that great, so the handicap helped. Still, Banka, who works for Consumers Power in Muskegon, is not complaining. Though his prize money has yet to be determined, Banka said he was only in the tournament to collect the Rhino Pro Ball. I figured the cheapest way to get it would be to bowl in the Pro-Am. I thought it would be a good deal, he said. Banka bowls in 4 area leagues, including Miracle Lanes on Mondays, where he holds his highest average of 191. He also bowls Wednesdays at North Lanes in Muskegon, Fridays at Westgate, and every other Saturday at Fair Lanes. Because he worked second shift a year ago, Banka did not bowl much, and he did not enter the Pro-Am. Among the pros Banka bowled with were Tommy DeLutz and Eric Forkel. Those two turned in respective 257 and 263 averages, which easily topped Banka's 201. They were all right, Banka said at the pros. We talked a lot. I was not nervous at all. I had bowled in a few tournaments, and this was just like bowling in a league. Banka will use his prize money to add furniture to a new house. It is kind of nice, he said. It will help quite a bit. Other local squad winners included Tom Curtis of Wyoming with 1,435, Jim O.C. of Grand Rapids with 1,410, Robbie Baldwin of Kalamazoo at 1,401, Earl Nowrocky of Grand Rapids with 1,308, Vince Van Dykan of Grand Rapids at 1,353, and Daniel Dayu of Grand Rapids with 1,331. TJ Burke of Grand Rapids won the junior division with a handicap score of 1,473. And now, here is Marcy.
Thanks, Ike. I am pretty nervous, so I hope you all will bear with me. From the year 1994 in the Grand Rapids Press, Slumping Forkel finishes as world beater. Eric Forkel pulled out of a 2-year slump Wednesday night by winning the Professional Bowlers Association's final event of the fall, the $250,000 Brunswick Memorial World Open in Lake Zurich, Illinois. Forkel, who led the field after qualifying and match play by 477 pins, swept by David Ozio in the final match 225-212 to earn his first title of the year and the first place check, worth $45,492. The victory, the third of Forkel's career, also won him a boat, motor, and trailer package and a 3-year exemption into the Brunswick World Tournament of Champions. "It is especially nice to win after leading by so much," said Forkel, 34. "Sometimes you win the marathon during the week, but end up losing the 100-yard dash at the end." Forkel continued, "Twice I have led this year, Eivind, and twice I have lost, so one was hoping to pull one out tonight." The title match was a close one throughout, and was decided in the 10th frame as each bowler had a chance at victory. Ozio of Vidor, Texas, started the match with a pair of strikes, a spare, and a strike, while Forkel, a left-hander from Chatsworth, California, spared in the first frame, then struck in each of the next 3. The earlier matches saw the PBA Great Lakes Classic's third-place finisher, Butch Soper of Lake Havasu City, Arizona, defeated Dave D. Antromont of Middleburg Heights, Ohio, 244-192 in the first match, and then disposed of Bob Learn Jr. of Erie, Pennsylvania, 202-195 before falling to Ozio, 228-226. And Frank, you are in the anchor spot here, so have at it.
Thanks a lot, Marcy. As stated earlier, also from the year 1994 in the Grand Rapids Press. Popular Williams to take position as PBA president. Add another title to that of 15-time champion and reigning PBA Player of the Year, Walter Ray Williams. Effective January 1st, Williams will become president of the 3,800-member Professional Bowlers Association. The term will last through 1996 for the Stockton, California resident, who was 13th in last week's Great Lakes PBA Classic. Williams leads the PBA in 7 categories and is the tour's second leading money winner behind Norm Duke. Williams has been a PBA member since 1980 and was voted Player of the Year in 1986. A long-time tournament committee representative and active executive board member, the 35-year-old Williams also has captured 5 World Horseshoe Pitching Championships. He takes over the PBA presidency from Mike Albee. "It is nice to have the confidence of my fellow players," said Williams. "I am looking forward to being president and would like to do something positive for professional bowling. I think Mike Albee has done a great job. During my term, I would like to help the PBA gain a better relationship among all the integers of bowling. I would also like to see a resurgence in the sport, similar to the 1970s. I feel I have the experience to do a good job." And now, back to Ike.
From the year 1983 in the USA Today, Anthony has no regrets about sudden retirement after 14 years on the Professional Bowlers Tour. The signals for retirement were clear to all-time PBA money winner Earl Anthony. Anthony, 45, is the only bowler to win more than $1 million. $1,216,421 to be exact, and was this season's leading money winner when he announced his retirement in October. The life on the road was taking its toll. "I used to call my wife almost every night, especially when I would go to a new city," Anthony said. "I called her one night and I said, 'Well, I am here.' And she said, 'Where?' I had no idea. I said, 'Where am I supposed to be?' She said, 'Baltimore.' I said, 'Well, that is where I am.' When you get to that point, it is time to go home." So that is what Anthony did. Anthony has bowling centers in Dublin and Danville, both 25 minutes east of Oakland, both operated by his son, Michael, who was teaching his father the family business. I will still do a lot of appearances, 3 months a year, but no bowling, he said. I would like to disassociate myself from bowling as much as possible. Even when one thinks about it, I get sick to my stomach. It is nice to get up and say one did not bowl yesterday, and I do not have to bowl today. Anthony said he felt his competitiveness slipping. When I used to go to a tournament, when I enjoyed the competition, I could not wait for the tournament to start, Anthony said. No matter how well or how poorly I did in that event, I was really pumped up to get in the next one. I never had a letdown. Now, when I go to a tournament, I cannot wait for it to get over with. It is completely turned around emotionally and mentally. 5 times named the Bowler of the Year, a title he could win again this year. Anthony is also a member of the PBA Hall of Fame and has won 6 PBA national titles. That is where I wanted to quit, he said. Mostly, everybody I have talked to has said, "Congratulations. I am glad you had the courage to make the decision at this point. I feel very fortunate. Every goal I have set, I have achieved." His wife, Susie, who frequently traveled with him, supported his decision. "I knew he was ready to retire," she said. "I was ready, but I could have taken another year. When he first told me, I could not believe it. I had heard it so many times. I am happy for him." Acknowledging the end of his run, Anthony said he will be forgotten by the public in a year, and that bowling will have someone new in the spotlight. "I can understand, but I hate to see him retire," said Dick Weber, another Hall of Fame bowler. He has been good for our sport. We needed more heroes. Now we are losing one. He was great with the fans." Anthony said the chances are none at all that he will have a change of heart. "They were good years," he said. "I really enjoyed them, but I am glad it is over." And now to Marcy.
Thanks, Ike. From the Ozaki County News graphic from the year 1987, Duckpin Bowling to debut. The Midwest's only Duckpin Bowling Center will open in Thiensville on Friday, November 13th. The 12-lane center will feature duckpin bowling, a popular game on the East Coast, played on the same-sized alleys as 10-pin bowling but with a smaller ball and pins. Quacker's Duckpin Bowling Center, formerly occupied by Hadler Lanes, has been remodeled and will include a new snack bar, cocktail lounge, video games room, birthday and other occasions party room, and a large banquet and hall facility. The center also will sell duckpin bowling equipment. Duckpin bowling is sanctioned by the National Duckpin Bowling Congress, which was formed in 1927. Although geared for and enjoyed by persons of any age, the sport is particularly attractive for children, seniors, and the disabled because of the much lighter ball that is used. The maximum weight of a duckpin bowling ball is 3 pounds 12 ounces, compared to a standard 10-pin ball weighing up to 16 pounds. A duckpin ball is also no larger than 5 inches in diameter. Scoring in duckpin bowling is slightly different as well. While the best score is 300 for 10 pins and duck pins, as many as 3 balls instead of 2 can be bowled per frame in duck pins. Knocking down all the pins on the first ball is a strike, and doing it in 2 balls is a spare. However, if pins remain standing after 2 balls, a third ball can be rolled, with the score for the frame being the total number of pins knocked down by all 3 balls. But the bowler scores a 10. Not a spare if all pins are knocked down with 3 balls. Lee Sanders, president of Quackers, said that he was excited about bringing duck pin bowling to Wisconsin. "The game is so much fun. People here are in for a real treat when they come out and try it for the first time. It is easy to play because the ball is much smaller and lighter," Sanders stated. However, despite the relative ease of rolling the ball and hitting the pins, Sanders pointed out, there has never been a sanctioned 300 game bowled in duck pins in its 60-year history. The world record is 267, so there is definitely a challenge to the game for new bowlers, or those who normally bowl the 10-pin game. Sanders said that he and the other owners of Quackers Incorporated, which owns the operation, have been working on bringing the game to Wisconsin for nearly 4 years. "We had to obtain duckpin equipment, a suitable location, and the needed financing," he said. "It has been an uphill battle, but we think it will be worth it because of all the enjoyment and fun it will bring to people." Hour for the new center will be 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. daily with possibly extended hours on weekends. Leagues are being planned for mornings, afternoons, evenings, and late night, including leagues for children, seniors, housewives, and second and third shift workers. Persons interested in leagues can call Quackers or stop in at the center, located on North Main Street in Thiensville.
From the Miami Herald from the year 1985. Weber topples 4 for Budweiser title. Pete Weber averaged 226 while beating 4 opponents Saturday, en route to his 3rd title of the year, the $135,000 Budweiser Open. Weber defeated Tom Baker 204-181 in the championship game. I do not know if I got tired that last game, said Weber, 23, but I was really pumped up. After beating Mark Roth 213-171 and Marshall Holman 223-178, Weber opened with 7 strikes en route to a 266-180 victory over Jim Pensac. Weber earned $21,000 and raised his season total to a PBA best $161,856 BT. And now, turning our attention to the north side of the United States and Canadian border. From the year 1970 in the Toronto Star, different champ every week in Ace 5-Pin tournaments by Terry Fraser. Among the sheets of high averages in the various leagues at Ace Bowls is one which lists IHE, all-time leading money winners in the monthly Ace Invitational 5-Pin tournaments. Fraser Hambley of Toronto leads with $1.05. That, Ace manager Henry Fair points out, is one of the main reasons for the success of the tournament. Several bowlers have made more than $500, but nobody dominates. We have had 11 tournaments, and there have been 11 different winners. Bowlers will not enter unless they feel they have a chance to win, and this tournament has proven almost anyone can win. When Frank Rao of Wyland won last spring, he had a 230 average in league play. And who ever heard of Terry Noon? He was leading after 9 games in the 10-game tourney Sunday. Since they were started in 1968, the monthly Ace tournaments have become tremendously popular with good bowlers from Toronto, Hamilton, Wyland, and recently Kitchener and Montreal. Hambley outshot Noon 236 in the final game last Sunday, but finished 4th with a 2,737 total as Joe Curcio of Wyland rolled 320 simple, 4 for 2,832. Primo Vagnini, CF Toronto, had 233 for 2,817. And Peter Cerny of Downsview finished with 334 for 2,789. Curio won $500. Vagnini $200. Cerny $130. Hambley $100 in 5th place Noon, $70. Rouse 401 in his 5th game was H. Single in the tournament and earned him $50. Behind Hambley on the all-time money list are Ron Gourlay with $860, Nick Pagniello $350, Rao $782.30, and Curcio $675.50. This weekend, Ace will host its 4th Ladies Invitational, which is operated much like the men's event but carries a $100 first prize. Entry fee for women is $10 compared to $25 for the men's tournament. And speaking of the ladies, here is Marcy with a story on the LPBT.
Thank you, Ike. From the year 1985 in the Miami Herald, LPBT has its problems, but still keeps rolling. It has been a tough year for the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour, but a good one for Alita Sill and Doris Coburn, frontrunners for Bowler of the Year honors going into the $100,000 Tournament of Champions event, which will start Monday at Samstown Hotel and Casino Lanes in Las Vegas. LPBT members had high hopes for 1985 after Sill won a record $81,452 last year, but things then started to go sour. The LPBT lost 10 of its 24 tour stops. Prize money fell almost $200,000 to a little over $500,000, and even worse, The Anheuser-Busch Sports Time cable network went out of business March 31st. That left the LBBT with few tournaments, little money, no TV deal, and a disgruntled membership. The only thing that kept many of the LPBT regulars from abandoning the tour was the knowledge that the season would end with the $100,000 Tournament of Champions at Sam's Town. Last year, a record 156 LPBT members swept into the new hotel casino complex. For a week, while 52 were bowling downstairs, the other 104 were hitting the blackjack and crap tables upstairs. Many were better sports, losing on the tables than on the lanes. A few right-handers said they thought the lanes were oiled to suit Sill's left-handed style. However, similar right-hander versus left-hander accusations often are heard at EOD of the Year tournaments, where frustration abounds. Regardless, Sill was the best bowler at Sam's Town last November, and the tour's top winner with 4 victories in 1984. Thursday in Tacoma, Washington, Sill, 23, won her 3rd title of 1985, beating Pat Costello 210 to 186. Yet she is nervous about her chances of again winning the $25,000 Tournament of Champions. I feel pretty good, but I do not feel as good as last year, Sill said. The more pressure, the better I seem to bowl, even though I feel awful because I am so nervous. By contrast, Coburn is calm. I think I can be tough at Sam's Town, said Coburn, a business management graduate from the University of Buffalo. I feel really confident because I think I am bowling better than ever. Although Sill and Coburn must be considered Bowler of the Year favorites, 3 others also have legitimate shots: Patty Costello, Lisa Rathgaber-Wagner, and Lori Nichols. If one of those 3 wins this week, it will get crowded at the top of the ballot. Sill should benefit from the Tournament of Champions' long format. All 150 expected entrants will practice today before participating in a Pro-Am event, and bowling 8 game blocks on 3 different squads Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The top 56 will advance to another 8 game block Thursday morning before the field will be cut to the top 24 for 24 match play games Thursday night and Friday. The top 6 will square off Saturday at 1 p.m. in the stepladder finals. Take it away, Frank.
Thanks, Marcy. From the Porton Press Herald from the year 2016, Candlepin rolling back into Westbrook. A new Candlepin bowling alley is open in Westbrook, but it might be a while before you can start racking up spares. Tweaks are still being made to the lanes, which feature a new kind of pin setter that eliminates the need for a sweeper and instead uses a pin deck that flips up and dumps the pins backward. But there are other reasons to pay a visit to the Pride's Corner venue, called 33 Elmwood, which is also the address. The alley has 4 AstroTurf bocce courts, a full bar and a restaurant with a menu that ranges from pizza and hot dogs to seared scallops and Brussels sprouts with a balsamic glaze. A second bar and lounge area are planned, as well as an outdoor space. It is much more common these days to hear about candlepin bowling alleys shutting their doors than opening them, as was the case across town about 6 months ago, when Colonial Bowling Center closed. Although the lanes were not quite ready, 33 Elmwood opened Saturday for people interested in playing bocce, visiting the bar, or having a meal. Jackie Hersey, the alley's marketing coordinator, said it is unclear when bowling will begin because the technology is so new. The alley will also serve as a showroom for the pin sitters, said owner Todd Leiter, who plans to manufacture and sell them. The Westbrook lanes will give potential buyers the opportunity to come watch how they work. The venue, which most recently was a flea market, had been a bowling alley in the past, but Leiter wanted it to have a more sophisticated feel than the typical candlepin place. Some of the finer touches include a glass display case filled with wine, and vintage-looking hand-painted signs advertising bowling games for $6 a piece or $15 for 3. Bocce costs $5 an hour per person, pretty cheap, as long as you do not order the seared scallops. And now, to close out today's broadcast, here's a comparison between candle pins and 5-pins. A little story on the foul penalties. This one concerns fouling in candle pins. And 5-pins with a noted difference in outcome. We have all said at some time that candle pines is the best game. And even though a great number of bowlers do not observe the foul line, the penalty for fouling is somewhat mild to what it is in the game of 5-pins. So after you read this, decide if you are glad you bowl candles instead of 5s. It seems that when you trip the foul line in 5-pins, you do not reset the pins at any time, but do count the pins knocked down, even though fouling. In candles, we reset and lose a ball. Or pins. In the 5-pin game, you can foul as much as 3 times in a box as you can in candles. But the results? In 5s, when you foul, you mark an F in the upper box on the score sheet. This could be 3 Fs a box, and at the end of the string you may have a nice big score, but since in 5-pins the penalty for any 1, and each foul is 15 pins, you deduct the value of the number of fouls in the string, and you end up with a net score. You could even end up with a 0 for the string, but no less. So with the rule in candles saying you lose a ball, or pins each time you foul, the advantage to you is the candle pin game, no doubt. So the rule makers do give us a certain advantage, do not they? So now are not you glad you bowl candle pins instead of 5-pins? This story is directed mostly to those who refuse to observe that foul line.